Hello, we should be live on Twitch. Welcome back to Uncanny Adventures, the Call of Cthulhu, the Wretched West. We are in episode 7, I believe, which is crazy. Our investigators have been trying to figure out, there's some strange happenings going on in the hills outside the town of Pawheton in the Dakota Territories, and they're not really sure what's happening, and they headed up to chase after a prospector named Jed, who put something in somebody's drink a while back that made him act really funny. And it's only been a couple of days, but a lot's happened. Apparently there's some kind of flying, translucent, bug-type creatures that are very large. There's definitely ape men in the hills, and according to the Reverend, that means it's the first sign of the apocalypse. And apparently somewhere underground there's some kind of zombies that are coming up out of silver mines trying to eat people. Actually, I think they just want to make friends, but Delilah blew them up. So anyway, we're gonna say hi to our investigators. And we are short one Celt because he had other things to do, so we will miss him, but he'll be back next time. But we'll go around and say hello, and then we're gonna jump back in and see what happens, because I don't even know where they're gonna go next. So, why don't we start with Jamie?
Oh, hi there. I'm Jamie. I'll be playing Hudson Devereaux, the deputy sheriff, who has 7 guns now, and is just looking to shoot some stuff, because he has no idea what's going on, and he's a simple man, so he's like,
Like, none of us know what's going on.
I mean, well, yeah, but it's kind of just like, this might as well happen now.
It's fair enough. And how about Brooke?
Hi, my name is Brooke. Today I'm playing Delilah Darling, our darling little saloon girl turned badass, question mark? I mean, nobody can walk. I mean, she ran away from an explosion without looking over. I think that qualifies her. I'm pretty excited to be here. I'm a little nervous, but I feel like we're gonna hit every major cryptid in the book at the rate we're going.
Yeah.
I guess it just depends on where you look. And Dylan, how about you?
Oh, hey, I'm Dylan. I'm playing Jeremiah Brown, man of God, a Civil War veteran, and dude who read like a Penny Dreadful that evidently the Bigfoots are from another planet. So
Yeah,
that's
Forgot about that.
fun. You know.
Can you really believe everything you read, though?
Yeah, I'll believe it.
Look, he's probably one of the few people who can actually read, so...
After the past day, or couple of days, I'm not so sure anymore.
It's fair.
Yeah. Oh, and the dude who was a claim jumper who we captured, his body showed up with his scalp ripped off, just like the ghost that the dude in town has seen. That's fun.
That's true. And since people have been raising from the dead other places, Lucas didn't think that it was a good idea to just let this lay. So he excused himself from all of you who were sitting at a table in the Pawheton Original having morning coffee. Jack was having mostly whiskey with a little dash of coffee. And he went off to the jail and approached the marshal, suggesting that the body should be decapitated and burned after shooting it twice, double tapping it in the head to make sure that it stayed down. Instead, they paid the gentleman who brought the body in, one Bert Anders, to take it over to the pig farm and dispose of it to the pigs. And he was given $3 extra to make sure that the pigs did in fact eat the whole thing. So Lucas comes back as you guys are all still sitting with Jack at the Pawheton Original, and Jack he's asking questions. He's curious about what you all have seen, and you can tell he's digging for more information. Delilah's giving him a little bit. You get the feeling that he's not 100% sure how much of this he really believes, though he trusts Delilah pretty much implicitly, so it's kind of hard for him to not agree with her that she saw these things. So when Lucas comes back, he brings back a couple of things with him that he kind of sits down and he looks over at Jeremiah first and he says, "Hey preacher, can I get my 6-shooter back?"
Oh, sure.
He loaned you a gun.
Mm-hmm.
So he'll take it back and he kind of checks it and puts it back in the gun belt and he slides over a brand new gun belt, and in it there's another revolver, and you can see that there's some ammo with it in the belt, and the holster is very nicely like stitched with WWJD. Very, very stylized. And he just slides it over.
Hey, what would Jerry do?
Oh no.
Yeah, he nods, cracks a smile, and then looks at Delilah and takes a leg holster with a small Derringer gun and some bullets and hands it over to you and says, "This'll go well in the leg opposite the one with the knife." So you have a leg holster with a small...
It was a holdout pistol, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And then he smiles over at Hudson. And he reaches down and he picks up like a bag and he sort of puts it on the table and it clinks and he slides it across. And inside are bullets for all of your guns.
Oh yeah, that's right. He bought them.
He bought you a bunch of ammunition for your weapons.
And Hudson's gonna start loading everything.
And then he goes over to the coffee pot and fills up his coffee cup again. And Jack just looks at you all and says, "So what is your plan?"
Yeah.
Oh. Bold of you to assume we got one there, Jack.
I mean, I think overall our plan is to not let Pawheton get destroyed. How successful or where we're going next is to be seen.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around the what you think is going to destroy the town.
Everything.
So are we.
We're bug demons, Jack. I don't know.
I mean, I haven't seen any bug demons come into town, preacher.
Yep, neither have I. But we've seen them out in the mountains. So
you believe a ghost with its head missing? But you
I
don't
saw
believe
that
bug
with my own
demons.
2 eyes.
I mean, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and we saw it with our own 2 eyes.
Well,
All 4 of us, so 8 eyes.
So that's more than your eyes.
but I mean, like I was saying, you did go to collect that Jed fellow, and you were bringing him back because of something he put in somebody's drink. Now, did you drink anything that Jed gave you?
No.
Are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you don't remember.
Jack, you're doing a lot of stretches here.
I just want to really understand this, my friend.
I get you.
It's very important to me.
Sometimes, Jack, you just gotta have faith and believe things that are hard to believe.
Now, I can understand that in a sense, but I guess if you're very concerned about this, do you need me to provide some help for you in this? Do you want to take a few people with you, perhaps?
I think the fewer people involved, the better.
Yeah. Less threatening.
I would agree.
And we weren't really supposed to know about it. So I think getting more people in on it, it's just going to make it all worse.
It may accelerate the doom of Pawheton.
I mean, not that you're not doing an admirable job of that already, Jack, but...
Delilah shoots you this look like you're talking about my employer.
Yeah, he kind of gives you a sideways, like...
Jeremiah just covers his mouth like...
Lucas, like, snickers into his coffee and like takes a swig. It's hot. Oh, I want to help you, is what I'm saying.
Appreciated.
Then the way you can help us is stay here and try to keep as few people from going into the hills as possible. I get that this is going to cut into your profits, just like me going away. I understand the business. But if we can get rid of whatever is going to cause the impending doom of Pawheton, then the town can prosper, and you don't have people going missing in the hills. So I can't imagine that would be good for business either, Jack.
All right. I want Delilah to roll a persuasion check for Jack.
Okay.
But I will let her have one advantage die because she is Delilah and Jack trusts her.
Oh,
Ooh.
Whoa! Wow.
How'd I do? Was on the wrong
Hard.
screen.
you got hard.
You got it very, very good. So he scratches at his beard and rubs down his mustache, and he gives Delilah a hard look, and he says, "Well, darling, I don't like the idea of you going out again. I was very worried when you were gone. I like to keep you close. You're very important to me. But seeing as you are so important to me, I also want to show you how much I trust you. So I'll have some of the boys kind of keep an eye on things as far as the borders of town. And if anybody comes in from out on their claims, I'll give them reasons that they want to stay for a little bit. Maybe they'll get a special with the ladies here, or some cheap drinks for a little bit. But now you know how much I'm trusting you if I'm going to give out some cheap drinks and some specials. Because that's money out of my pocket.
I understand, Jack. But I also understand that you probably don't want to send people to their dooms up on the mountain. Besides the four of us.
Well, I don't want to see you go to your doom. But I'll leave you to it, as long as you promise to keep me in the loop as to the bigger picture that you have going on here. And make sure that Pennebaker doesn't hear anything about this.
Why would I go and talk to him about this?
Yeah.
Oh, Delilah, darling, I'm not saying you. And his eyes kind of scan the rest. I'm just saying, in general, this stays between us.
Well, we kind of didn't want to loop you in, and we probably wouldn't have if it weren't for Pete. Just saying.
Oh, darling, it's good you looped me in, because I like to know that people come to me with their problems. This is what I do. And it upsets me when people don't feel that they can trust me.
This isn't a matter of trust, Jack.
It's always about trust, Delilah.
I think she just puts her head down and sighs for a minute. And anyone who's been around, well, everybody else has noticed she's a bit twitchier than, or twitchy isn't the right word. She seems to be fidgeting a lot more than what is normal for her.
Coffee's getting to her.
Yeah, too much coffee.
Jack stands up and he says, "Well, I guess I'll leave you to whatever it is you plan to do."
We're gonna do, yeah.
And he kind of strolls over, puts the whiskey bottle back by the bar, and goes back to the stairs and goes upstairs. Kind of still walking in his pajamas, his onesie there pajama that he was wearing, to go get dressed for the day. And you hear the creak of the stairs. He walks across the upper landing, and then he just kind of looks over the railing down at you all. He's kind of got one eyebrow cocked. And then he goes in his room, and you hear the door.
So what are we gonna do?
I mean, I think we gotta go back out there.
Yeah.
Probably find the Squatches is our next best plan.
Yeah.
They definitely don't seem like friends of those field
Is-
groups. So
Is anybody a fan of the bug people?
It doesn't seem that way. No.
No.
No, it sure don't.
I think the potential problem is not coming off as a foe of the Sasquatch. I'm much more armed now. Hudson, well, just look at Hudson. I don't know how he ever shoots all those guns. He only has 2 hands, but I'm sure he'll show us how that's done.
Oh, don't you worry. I'm very good.
I mean, I guess the easiest way to do it would be like when you're approaching a position during wartime, but you don't want to get yourself shot like you're an enemy. You want to let yourself be known to your friends, but not to the enemy. You don't want to come off as threatening, but you want to know that you want to let them know that you're not sneaking up on them like an enemy would. You know what I'm saying?
I get you.
Yeah.
Announce our presence before we walk in.
I mean, I'm pretty good at the talking thing. Whether or not the Sasquatches understand us is going to be a whole other...
That's a question, yeah.
Well, the one we ran into seemed to kind of like us.
I mean...
It's fair. Didn't attack us.
I know you're a married man, Hudson, but have you looked at me? A lot of things like me. A lot of human-looking... A lot of
big humanoid hairy things. Yeah.
Listen, first of all, I only have eyes for my wife.
Doesn't mean you can't admire something you can't have. You're not dead,
Second
Hudson.
of all, well, I hope I'm not gonna be dead. By Minnie or by these bug things.
Well, I could back you up on the whole bug thing. Minnie, that you're on your own for that one.
Oh, I know.
I don't think even the Lord can help with that.
And if you look, Hudson's cheek is kind of still red from the night before when she kind of smacked him as soon as he came in for disappearing for a couple days.
Maybe we should I've already looped in the important person in my life, but maybe if there are people we should loop in, maybe you let her know we're going back out there so at least she knows where you're at.
Oh, she knows.
So that you don't have a matching one on the other side? Or
She knows where I'm going, and she knows where I'm going to be so that she can come save my ass.
Well, if she's saving your ass, she's probably saving all of ours. So I guess it's good to have an ally like that in town.
Yep. She'll make sure Jack and Walter don't kill each other.
That's also good.
Although never mind. I won't say that in front of the lawman. Just kidding. Rivalry is it's good for business. Or something like that.
I mean, it is until all the bodies start showing up because y'all shoot each other. Or my jail's full because y'all start getting street fights.
I mean, there's something to be said for letting the bodies hit the floor.
You just gotta let the bodies hit the floor.
Anyway, I have some business I need to attend to here before we go out of town. But should we meet here in like an hour? Does that give everybody a chance to take care of any last business in town before we head out?
Sure. I mean, I don't got anything else to do.
Yeah, I'm good, so I'll just sit here.
Okay. Well, then give me a moment. Delilah goes to hunt down Calliope, who I've decided is kind of her right-hand lady.
Okay. So you go upstairs and you find her just she's kind of tidying up in a couple of the rooms and sort of making sure like things are cleaned up after the night before.
I think she will stick her head. Is the door open? I guess.
Yeah, it's open a crack. Yeah, you
Okay.
can hear her sort of humming to herself, and you can hear her like moving things around. You hear her like shaking out a sheet. She's making a bed in there.
I think Delilah will knock once. Go say Calliope's name, and then just walk in.
Hello? Oh,
Hi.
hello.
Let me help you with this.
Oh, no, you don't have to do that. I've got it well taken care of.
I know you do, but we need to talk.
Okay.
I'm headed back out of town for a indefinite period of time.
Oh, you going on a trip?
Sure.
Where are you off to? You going to Sturgis for a little bit? Or are you going to go back to Chicago?
Well, I'm never going back to Chicago.
Oh.
I'm going back into the hills. Did
Oh.
not realize where I was for the past 2 days?
Jack said you were busy.
I mean, I was. I mean, that is a definition of what I was. Listen, I need you to look after Jack and the other girls.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And do your best for Jack.
Until you come back. Okay.
I think she just pauses for a second. I think she's fighting back tears because she's not convinced that she will be coming back. And
Delilah, are you all right?
I'd like to think I'm coming back. But I'm not sure.
Oh.
Which is why we're having this conversation. Because
It's all right, Delilah. You can tell me anything you need to tell me.
no, I can't. I really can't.
Well, I mean, I'll do that for you. I'll take care of Jack and I'll take care of things here, and I'll be praying for you that you're going to be okay.
And I think she somewhat geared up to go out before she got busted and caught, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, you had all your stuff together and stuff like that.
So I think she takes out whatever bag the Owens brothers' gold was in, because I can't imagine it was loose.
No, it was bagged up. Yep.
And I think she takes that bag, which has, by my count, for all the stuff she bought and the horse and whatever, it still has 300 gold and the silver powder in it. And I think she places it in Calliope's hand, or in Calliope's hand.
She kind of takes it and it's like, oh my. Well, I'm like, I'm gonna keep this safe for you too. Oh, Delilah, you've been saving.
It's for you.
Oh.
And the other girls.
All right. She looks like very confused and very concerned, like all at once, like she's taking it all in. And she just kind of hugs the bag a little more closely, like she doesn't know what else to do.
And I think Delilah just hugs Calliope, and tears are streaking down her face.
Calliope, like, is like, oh, and she kind of cries too, and she wants to, like, put her arms around you, but she's, like, holding onto the bag and just, like, let you hug her. She's like, it's all right, Delilah. I'm sure everything will be okay.
I sure hope so, kid. And I think she will quickly leave the room.
Okay.
Now that she's caused as much emotional turmoil as possible. And then go quickly gather up her pack. I'm assuming, like, the dynamite and stuff she still can collect from the general
she can
store.
go. It was getting all packaged up for you yesterday.
Perfect. Into, like, saddlebags or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
And while Delilah has walked away, so Hudson and Jeremiah, you're left at the table with each other. Do you do anything, or want to discuss anything while you're on your own?
Harry, you gonna take that donkey with you again?
Look, Sancho. Yeah, that's the plan. Is there a problem with that?
No, just curious if you're gonna get yourself a real horse or not.
Well, I don't. Sancho is a hardworking, devout individual. You know.
He walked you around in circles, Jerry.
Life is a eternal cycle, Hudson. You know, like all of God's great plan. There's a beginning and an end, and they kind of wind together.
It's just a donkey, Jerry.
I listen. I'm just trying to. I like Sancho. Okay.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Jeez.
Just curious. Hoping maybe you learn how to ride him a little better.
Well,
Is all.
I hope so too.
And as you guys are talking, you hear outside the doors of the saloon, you hear just like footfalls, like, and then one of the doors kind of opens, and you see the figure of Reverend Duffy kind of look inside. Huh, quiet morning in here, I see. I was looking to see if there were any holdovers from last night. Were you two, well, hello, preacher. Jeremiah, is it?
Yeah.
And Deputy Hudson, right?
Yes.
Well,
Technically Deputy Devereaux, but Deputy
Well.
Hudson's fine.
I just was doing a walkabout, and I thought I'd poke my head in and see if there was anyone who needed their soul saved after an evening of debauchery. But I see it's a quiet morning here. Maybe I'll have to visit Mr. Pennebaker's establishment and see if there's any souls to be saved over there. How are you all this morning?
Dandy.
Yeah, doing all right. You know.
It was nice to see you stop by the tent yesterday, Pastor.
Mm-hmm.
I
Thanks
hope.
for the chat.
Oh, of course. I hope to see you at more of my sermons. It's important that we men of the cloth stick together.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all right. Well, I don't see Jack around either. I was going to ask him a couple questions, but I guess I'll move on.
No, he was in his footies.
What kind of questions?
I just wanted to
Maybe
have a
we
chat
know.
with Mr. Stratton. It's no worries,
About
just
what?
about his immortal soul.
No,
Hmm.
I don't think that can be saved.
Everyone
I'm not
can
sure
be
if he still
saved.
got a soul.
Well, I beg to differ. I think that everyone, and as I told your friend here, Pastor Jeremiah, yesterday, that we will all, if we want it, get forgiveness and be borne up on the wings of the angels. You too can be forgiven.
Are you hinting at something there, Father?
No, just preaching the good word.
It sounds like you're preaching it to me, directly.
I preach it to everyone and anyone who has the ears and the heart to listen.
Well, I mean, I kind of don't have a choice but to listen to you. You kind of came in and just started talking.
But yet here you still sit, and you have not walked away. You are sitting here with your heart open to hear the words that I say.
It's because you're blocking the door.
He looks back over his shoulder. Well then, I won't keep you, gentlemen. I will I wish you a good day, and perhaps I will see you sometime later. Take care of yourselves. And he tips his hat and turns and walks back toward the door and kind of opens it back up and walks out. And walks away as you hear footsteps on the stairs of Delilah.
Hudson's gonna lean over, go, why'd he call you Jeremiah?
Is that actually your name?
Yes.
I thought your name was actually Jerry.
No, you people have just been calling me that.
Well,
Well, I'm not stopping.
why didn't you tell us?
I mean, I don't mind. Whatever.
Jeremiah.
I thought you all knew.
No, I didn't know.
Oh, well.
The sheriff told me your name was Jerry. I assumed your name was Jerry.
Oh well.
Turns out it's Jerry Maya.
Sorry. I made a
Maya
body.
just into the camera.
Whew. I actually think Delilah just burst out laughing, like, you know, this is the most like normal thing that has happened to us in a couple of days, so I'm just gonna let it out. I'm laughing it out. Okay, on that note, ready to saddle up and ride out of here?
Yeah, let's find some big feet. Sure. Shoot.
Might as well.
I mean, have you looked at Jack's feet? Those are... Never mind.
No, I don't look at those very often, no.
Why are you looking at his feet?
Except because he was wearing footy pajamas. That was, I did look at him then.
Why y'all looking at his... Oh, God. He's just gonna put his hat on and start walking out.
We're in a onesie. Come on.
There's things you... Never mind. I'm not going there.
Anyway.
Well, at least the feet with your own thing you were looking at in his onesie.
All right. So you all having this conversation, collect your belongings and go and collect your horses, Shadow, Boss, Sancho, and Sable.
Yep.
And you're planning to head out of town.
Yeah.
So,
We're
Where-
Sasquatch hunting.
all right. So,
I think Jed told us kind of where the Sasquatch is.
So, Jed suggested that he thought that you'd find the Sasquatch somewhere near Brick Peak, which
Mhm.
is sort of northeast of town.
Yeah.
It's almost due east of where the silver mine was.
Yeah, because that's where we were heading when we made
Mhm.
the detour.
And you know it's a few hours from town to get up there. You know that you could either follow the creek like you did previously and then ride up into the hills in that direction, or you could cut straight across country and head for Brick Peak across land.
I feel like
And it
we've
looks...
encountered those bug creatures on the creek.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We were in the creek when he came and grabbed, what's his face? Clegg.
Yeah.
He deserved it.
He
I almost
did.
feel like we should go cross country.
Well, and looking at our map, do we have this map? Like, is there a map like this?
You would have like a Jack, because Jack could give you like a basic map that
Okay.
kind of, because he gives out, he deals with the claims and stuff, so he would have like an idea of the surrounding area.
Does it have any like elevation? Does it look kind of like the one that we're seeing on
Yes.
in roll 20?
Mhm.
Okay.
Um,
So Delilah will go, looks like Brick Peak is one of the lower peaks. So I think going cross country with our horses shouldn't be too bad. Although we're wide in the open with.
I was gonna say, is it like getting there, going cross country? Would be like open prairie land, or is there like woods we'd be going through?
There's prairie, but there's also like woods and things like that too.
Okay.
So we do have
Okay,
some.
that's a little
sort of
less
there.
bad.
That's what I figured.
Okay.
And it looks like they're like smaller little raised areas too. So
Mhm. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
kind
not
of
just
hilly as
flat,
you go.
at least. Okay. Yeah, that could work.
Yeah. Plus, if we go by the creek, we'd be going near the silver mine again, and Hudson
Yeah.
does not want to go back there.
No. Not really.
Okay, so cross land.
Across country.
All right.
I would
Yeah.
like to make a stop at the doctor's place just to let Judd know what's going on,
Hmm.
so he doesn't worry.
Okay.
Because I forgot there is another important person in my life.
Sure.
But that doesn't need to be, well, maybe it does need to be role played. I'm gonna go get my horse and stop at the doctor's house at the same, or the doctor's office at the same time.
All right. So, you guys, you all collect up your horses. You can make a quick swing by the general store and pick up the items that you had them set aside for you.
I buy some
And-
marshmallows in case we go camping.
Always a very important choice. Always.
The
Um,
Lord's
Marshmallows
food.
actually, Never mind.
I don't know if they existed, but I'm gonna say they did.
Do we have like lanterns with us, or do we need to get some?
I mean,
I feel like Delilah
did.
probably bought a fair bit of general
Just
supply.
basic supplies. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, she also bought dynamite, but a whole crate. But yes.
Is the doctor is close to the jail, correct?
it's like right around the block from the jail. Yeah.
Okay. So while Delilah's talking to Jed, Hudson's gonna go to the jail just to get some more like manacles, just in case we need them for whatever.
Hudson's got guns and manacles.
Look, he's a lawman.
He's owning this now.
It came in handy having them before, so he wants to bring some.
All right, Jeremiah, do you go with Delilah, or are you gonna go with Hudson?
Sorry, I was looking up the history of marshmallows.
An excellent use of our time.
Where's everybody going?
Delilah's
By the
gonna
way-
go to the
by the way,
doctors.
I looked
Yes?
it up. Late 1800s, they did exist.
So
So it's totally within the realm of
so
possible.
Jeremiah finds marshmallows.
And it's actually like the ones you buy in the store now. They're just that
Yeah.
old.
In the same bag and everything, yeah.
You have
You
same
know-
packaging.
And the thing is, like these wouldn't have been in town like 2 months ago, but because Pennebaker opened up like a kind of like a mail service, and
Yeah.
he's been more shipments have been coming in. So these are straight out of Chicago. They came in from the big city. All right.
I think I'd go with Hudson because I don't want to go to the doctors again. So
Pharaoh's gonna come out.
yeah,
Padre.
don't want.
Feed me, feed.
So
I'm feeding the storyteller. Bad
all
news.
right. So you guys head out. You stop. You get your supplies together, and then Delilah heads up the street toward the northern edge of town, or the northeastern edge of town, to go to the doctors. And Hudson and Jeremiah, you guys head up the road, the main road, another block or so before you're kind of gonna turn and head up to the jail. You pass by Pharaoh's Phillies tent, and two of the ladies are sitting out front. They're each smoking a rolled cigarette, and they're like, "Morning, hi there, gentlemen.
Morning, ladies.
Hello, Pastor. How are you?
Doing all right.
Hey, Pastor, Deputy, you ain't seen Pharaoh around, have you?"
He was at the doctor's office last I saw.
"Oh, all right. He hadn't been checking in, so I just figured I'd check and see if anybody had seen him."
Yeah, he's missing a leg now. Bye.
Oh, it's terrible. They watch you kind of disappear around the corner, and you get to the jail. The door's locked, but Hudson, you have a key. You let yourselves in, and you can see that two of the small cells look like they're occupied. It looks like at some point during the night, somebody got taken in and put into cells. You look around, you don't see the marshal anywhere inside. It seems like maybe he's off doing something, and he left everything locked up.
Hudson's gonna go over to the cell and not get like right close to the bars because he knows better than to get within reach and range. And he's gonna look at the people in there. All right, what'd you all do?
Oh, what? Is it morning?
Hudson's gonna grab. I'm assuming there's like a broom or some sort of here. Just kind of start
Oh, hey,
shaking the
stop,
like
ah.
moving it along the bars just to make as much noise as possible.
What are you doing? It's early still. Oh, my head. Don't do that.
It's like 8 a.m. Get up.
No, what are you doing? They told me I could sleep it off. God. Oh.
All right, drunk. That's all I needed to know.
All
He's gonna
right.
stop.
The other one
Very-
kind of sits up and looks at you with like bleary eyes. He's got like a big black eye and a bloody lip.
Do either of them look familiar?
They look like just a couple of ruffians that sort of spend a lot of time down at the steep hill, which is kind of a low scale.
Is that place I passed?
You didn't pass this one. This is
Okay.
it's kind of this tent that's sort of got this big awning. It sets at the lower southwest corner of town, like right at the edge of town. And they serve cheap whiskey, and the seating is basically like old tree trunks that they set up right. And it is definitely like rough tumble, like prone to drunkenness and fights and things like that. And these two look like you think you recognize one of them as Philip Carson. He's just like a wannabe prospector who's never really had any luck. The other one, you're not sure if his name's Joseph or Jonathan, but he's been in the drunk tank here and there. He can't always remember his own name.
Okay. And I'm assuming Philip's the one with the black eye, and
Yes.
Joseph Jonathan is the drunk one?
Yes.
Oi, Philip, who gave you the shiner?
That son of a bitch in the next cell did.
Oh, are they in separate cells?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they were in the same cell.
Oh, no.
That's what I was... Okay. Hey, Joseph Jonathan, why'd you hit him?
I don't know.
You don't know.
Nah.
Do you remember anything from last night, Jonathan Joseph?
I had a lot to drink. And ran into a pretty girl. Oh, I might have hit him because he started talking to the pretty girl. Yeah.
Okay. So it was just normal drunk fighting, like you didn't go all cuckoo and it's like, I'm gonna rip your throat out.
I don't think so.
Alright. Go back to sleep.
Alright, thank you. Philip's like, can I get out of here?
What did the sheriff say?
He said that when you came by, you'd let me out.
I feel like that you're lying. Can I see if he's lying to me?
Yeah, you want to make a check?
Sure. I'm gonna fail it, but... I mean, Hudson already doesn't believe him, but I want to see if I super don't believe him. What do I roll for
So
that?
you are going to roll a psychology check.
Oh, I'm gonna fail this.
I know. It's great.
Boom. Super fail.
So... you feel like I don't think so, but you don't get that read like off of Philip. Like he's like kind of like looks at you with this like sad expression, and he's like, "But he did say you'd let me out." And you're kind of like, I don't want to believe this, but he's got a good poker face if he's telling the truth.
Well, you know what, Philip? I got some very important business I need to go attend to, so I'm gonna just let the sheriff handle this. And then he's just gonna walk away.
He just sits back, kind of pushes back against the wall. He's like, damn it. Can I get some breakfast before you go?
Is there any sort of food in here?
There is not.
The sheriff's gonna handle that too. I'm just gonna start getting some manacles off them. I could get like 2 sets of manacles and then just walk out. And
All
lock
right.
the door
I'll throw him a marshmallow.
What is this thing? It looks like a tiny little pillow.
Yeah, to try it. It's pretty good.
I'm supposed to eat it?
Yeah. You can also squeeze it. It's fun.
He starts squeezing it.
Told you.
Oh, well, that's interesting. You walk out with him still squeezing the marshmallow.
Good. All right. Excellent.
All right, so Delilah, you part company with your friends. You head up the street, and you see the doctor's office, like his little cabin that he has. The door's shut. But as you get up close and you kind of tie your horse off, shadow off to the post out front, you can hear the sound of somebody puttering around inside. Like you hear things moving and stuff like that. So it sounds like somebody's home.
Besides the patients?
Probably.
Cool. I think she's going to walk up to the door. Is the door shut?
It is currently shut.
She'll knock.
You hear a couple things fall over. Intarnation! Why is everybody always knocking on my door? You hear like a step, like shuffle step. door opens and you see the doctor with his little mustache, the long white mustache, and his little like scruffy beard and his stringy hair, and he's got the little spectacles are down, and he's like, Delilah, what can I do for you this morning?
Well, first off, let me answer your question. You're the doctor. That's why people knock on your door. They're trying to get your attention. But secondly, I was hoping to speak to Jed.
Oh, Mr. Fincher, yes, he's I got him over here. I finished dealing with his wound and patched him up last night, and he slept pretty good through the night. He had a little bit of pain. He was up a couple times, but come see him.
She'll walk in the door. And she'll go right to Jed.
The doctor kind of like looks out. All right, shuts it. Like he's making sure nobody else is gonna knock before he shuts it and turns the lock again. And as you go over, Jed kind of like sits up a little bleary-eyed, and he's
You don't have to for me. You really don't.
Hello. How are you?
I'm okay. I was coming to let you know we're headed back out of town.
Oh, Doc, where's my clothes and stuff?
No,
Delilah,
no.
I'm gonna go with you.
You will die. No.
But
You still have to recover.
I'm fine. It's just a flesh wound.
You know, I was gonna give you back your gun, but I ain't doing that now because I'm afraid you're coming after me.
Delilah.
So I guess I'm holding on to that.
Delilah, no, I'll need my gun. I'm gonna, and he tries to like actually like sit up, and he's like, I don't mind
Can
boots.
she gently place her hand on his chest as a like, stop moving, you're only going to make things worse kind of move?
Make a persuasion check for him. So he like tries to raise up, and when you put your hand on and kind of push him back down, he like looks at you with this sad look, and he's like, I don't want you to go without me.
And Jack didn't want me to go at all, but I don't listen to anyone.
Jack's
any
a
of the
pompous
men in my
asshole most of the time. He doesn't
I
understand.
I don't disagree with you.
He doesn't know. He's more worried about saving his own skin than anybody else's, even if he says he cares about you.
Well, we're not gonna go fight the bug people.
Please don't do that.
She doesn't say she's about to say bug people, and then I think she actually, when she says bug people, she actually gets close to his ear and was like, you know what? We're gonna go look for some people out in the hills to help us. Do you understand what I'm saying?
He nods. And you see the doctor like at his desk, and he kind of looks over his spectacles at you like,
Do not repeat a word of this to anyone, or I will come back and haunt you forever, or hunt you down.
You hear from a little ways in the back, Delilah, is that you?
Is that Pharaoh?
Yep.
I'll be right with you, Pharaoh.
It's nice you came to see me.
Totally what I was doing, Pharaoh.
Jed just sort of like, he actually laughs a little. He's like, oh.
Okay, you can't even laugh. How are you gonna ride a horse for 2 hours out to the hills?
I could do it if I had to.
You don't have to. Lucas will keep track of me. And besides, we're going with the deputy. It's the same group from the other night.
All right, well,
I would rather you just stay here and recover.
I'll do that, but if you're not back by the next morning after tomorrow, I'm gonna come looking for you.
No. At that point, you might as well just assume I'm dead.
I'm not gonna assume. I gotta have proof.
Men are so stubborn sometimes. I think she mumbles that under her breath.
He hears you mumble it, and he looks at you. He's like, we're very stubborn when we got something worth being stubborn for.
You're welcome, I guess. I think she'll ease him back to like laying down, and then she'll lean over and kiss him. And I guess she's gonna go say hi to Pharaoh because she's sassy but not a jerk.
All right, so Jed watches you go, and he just has this sad expression on his face, and he kind of looks down at the wound, and he looks. You get the feeling as you're walking away like he is very angry that you're going without him. And if he had more fight in him, you think he'd fight you harder, but you can tell like how seriously injured he is by the fact that he doesn't. And then you walk across and you kind of like move aside this curtain that separates the room, and you see kind of tucked in a bed at the back with a little lantern on. Pharaoh's sitting up. His leg is kind of in traction and it's all bandaged up. It hasn't been taken off yet. It looks like the doctor is still attempting to save it. And when you walk in, he gives you a grin and he says, "Well, there you are. I haven't seen you since I got a bullet through my leg. How are you, darling?"
I'm just fine, Pharaoh.
You look a little worse for wear. You sleeping all right?
Yes, Pharaoh.
All right. Well, it's nice of you to come in and see me.
She really wants to sass him. Have you ever thought for a minute that the world doesn't revolve around you?
No?
Well, you maybe should think about that. Clearly didn't come in for you.
But here you are, so I guess the world does revolve around me, doesn't it?
It's because I'm nice enough to say hello.
Oh, come on. You gotta admit, there's a little bit of that Pharaoh charm that you miss.
I think you got what was coming to you.
He gets a serious expression on his face, and he says to you, "You may not be wrong, Delilah. There's a lot of skeletons in my closet. You may not be wrong."
Well, here's to hoping the doc can save your leg. And I think she's gonna... I know I said she wasn't a jerk, but she's totally gonna be a jerk. And she's gonna place her hand right on his knee.
Oh! Delilah, that's the bad leg! That's the bad leg! God!
My bad. My hand, I guess, revolves around your knee.
You hear, like, the shuffle step of the doctor, and he flings back the sheet, and he's like, "What in tarnation's going on back here? Delilah, that's the knee that I'm trying to save that leg, and you interacting with it is not going to help that man."
Sorry, I fell over, Doc.
He looks at you, and he, with his, like, back a little to Pharaoh, he says, "I'm sure you did just slip." He winks. And then he, like, looks at Pharaoh, and he's like, let me give you something for that, Pharaoh. That looks like that hurts a bit. And Pharaoh's just like, ow, God. Nice to see you, Delilah.
Bye, Pharaoh. And I think she's gonna just walk right on out the door now. She'll untie Shadow and meet up with... I guess she'd just go to the jail.
Yeah, so as you, you get up on Shadow and you start to turn him to go, you turn him and you see the doc has kind of shuffled out behind you, and he looks up at you, and he's got, his glassy eyes kind of looking up at you, and he's like, "I just wanted to say, be careful."
I'm gonna do my best. Kind of trying to come to peace with maybe not coming back, but...
Well, if you see something really dangerous that you think might hurt you, there's nothing wrong with running, Delilah. It's a fair choice.
Not when the whole town is in danger.
Well, good luck. I'm not gonna keep you. You got your business to handle. I can tell that there's a lot going on. I'm gonna go keep an eye on that Mr. Fincher for you.
Thank you. And sorry about that, Doc.
It's alright. I think Pharaoh needs a little reminding that he's not immortal every once in a while.
he was always one of the patrons that I put up with because because I had to, not because I liked to.
Well, he's always the ones I put up with because he's Jack's #1 man. And it's easier to put up with him than to get on the ire of Jack Stratton.
Don't we both know? And then she'll give him a nod and then kick Shadow to get him to go.
And you ride off as the doc kind of turns, walks back inside. As you look back just once, you see him do the look back out and do a look to see if anybody else is coming back again. And shuts the door as he goes back inside. So you all meet up as you guys are coming back from the jail. You see Delilah riding up on Shadow. Lucas kind of rides up. He went off to finish a couple things, and now he's back with Sable. Or Boss. He's riding Boss. Sable's Hudson's.
It's my horse. Well,
Let's roll.
let's get going, y'all.
Alright, so you head off, and you're going to head northeast out of town, and heading toward the peak. Brick Peak. So you do have a map, or it's fairly decent as far as distance, and you do have on the map you can see actually where the silver claim should be, which helps with directions. But who would like to roll a navigate check to point y'all in the right direction?
Does anyone actually have a navigate? Because mine's only 10.
Mine's
Mine's
10
a-
too.
Okay, I'll bite the bullet. I'm feeling lucky today.
You'll get an advantage. Well, roll with advantage. You can roll it with the advantage
I
die.
was gonna say, do we get
Still
advantage?
failed.
All right, excellent.
Look, we
Whoa,
dove.
okay.
I don't leave town.
Right.
We
This
like
is the most-
somehow circle back and come into Pawheton from the other direction. Like, what?
When did this town get here?
So, you ride out and you head off in what you think is the right direction. And you ride for maybe a couple hours.
Oh, God.
And you sort of, you see as you're riding, you're coming up on some buildings, and you can see some fence posts that sort of like separate out like some fields, and you're like, huh. And then I would say probably Hudson, you're the first to realize that you're coming up on basically it's a horse ranch that's run by a gentleman named Everett Scanlon. And when you realize what you're looking at as you're coming in, you realize that you have gotten a bit turned around, because this horse ranch is sort of to the almost due east of Pawheton. And you kind of got a little turnaround. And you see a couple of people sort of like looking up with they're working a couple horses inside one of these fenced areas, and they kind of look up. And then you can see there's like the river on the other side of the property, and across the way there's like a cattle farm that is owned by someone named Gustavo Romero. And you're like, oh no, this isn't right.
Guys, we went the wrong way.
Oh.
We gotta
Oh yeah, there's the mountain.
kind of
over
look
there.
at the map and be like,
Whoops.
that way? I don't know.
I
We went the
think
wrong
so.
way.
One of the ranch hands kind of waves at you. It's like, hi there.
You know which way Brick Peak is?
Yeah, it's pretty much a little bit north the easterly from here. Like if you head that way up the hills in that direction.
All right. Okay. Thanks.
Do you need some help finding it?
No, we're good. We're good.
All right.
Are
well,
we?
Shut up. Hudson has pride.
All right.
I would say yes, but you really don't. We'll be fine, I promise.
The Lord will be our navigator.
All right. Well, have a good day.
Start praying hard, Padre.
Oh, hey, Padre. I didn't recognize you.
It's His name's actually Jeremiah, in case you didn't know.
Yeah, no, I know that. I've had a conversation with him before. It's me, Nick. Hi.
Whoa!
Why did everybody know your name's Jeremiah, not us?
I don't know.
I think we just started calling him Jerry from the beginning. After he said his name was Jeremiah, and kind of just put Jeremiah out of our head. I honestly don't remember anymore. Kind of the least of our worries right now.
I think it may have been the keeper's fault.
It was, because
Because the sheriff called him Jerry.
the sheriff called him Jerry, and Hudson said, sure, that sounds right.
Walk with the Lord, Nick.
I'm doing my best, Pastor. You have a great day.
You too.
And you guys turn your horses sort of.
It was that way,
northeast.
right?
We're just gonna walk away from the ranch and loop back around to the other ranch on the other side.
Can we, like, kick our horses into gear now that we have, like, a good sense of where we're going?
Yes. So you do.
Okay.
Like, now that you've gotten a little bit directions,
Now that we
Um,
kind of know what we're doing.
you you kick your horses into gear and you head pretty much northeast, riding at a fair clip, and it is pretty even terrain, so you don't really have a lot of trouble making up time that you lost circling back around a little bit. As you ride, you don't see, like you did on the western side of the riverbank. You found like those sections of trees that had looked like they were exploded from the inside out. Like, you don't see any signs of that on this side of the river and the creek. And it's kind of a quiet day. It's actually a nice ride. It feels like so much different from the previous couple days that you've had as you ride out here. And it's probably after you take a stop off for lunch and still aren't bothered that you start to kind of get to the point where you start riding up into the hills again a little bit, and you get into the area of Brick Peak. And it's not a very high peak. You can look off in the distance and you can see Humboldt Mountain, which is very large, and you can see Granite Peak way off in the distance because it's a clear day, and those are much higher elevation wise. This is smaller. It's kind of got a lot of trees and stuff growing in the area, pretty well like covered from the base going up. So aside from the general location, you're not really sure where around here you're gonna find these ape men, Sasquatch.
Did the ape man from our last encounter make any noises?
I think he did.
You heard him. You heard him moving around, and you may have heard him make some noises, but he never spoke to you.
Right. Can Delilah try to replicate those noises?
Sure. Why don't you roll me? Do you have a performance? I think. Let's see. Do.
I only have art dancing, so that probably doesn't help us. Unless I do the mating dance of the Sasquatch.
Oh, well.
But usually that's not the female that does it.
That's true.
But again, look at me, pretty lady.
Why don't you I'll have you roll me like I'd say like maybe a natural world, like you're trying to mimic. And these
Cool.
creatures kind of sounded like whoop, whoop, whoop.
Well, here goes nothing, fam.
Well.
Does anybody else have any better ideas?
We could try looking for, like you would with an animal, like
Tracks.
broken twigs,
That
scratch
could be
background.
any animal.
I know, but
There's deer and probably mountain lions.
I think
Well, if some of the hair gets snagged, it's gonna look
That's
like
true.
human hair.
that's true.
Lucas is like, I mean, they did look like it walked upright. We could look for
Footprints.
footprints.
And I think, they'd need a source of water and shelter. So looking for like a stream, maybe some caves, that might help.
Yeah.
I don't know if they build huts or anything like.
Well, the one we saw stuck to the woods as much
That's
as
true.
it could and was hopping around in the trees. So we looked for some trees, we looked for some tracks.
I think Delilah's gonna attempt to replicate the noise.
Oh!
Oh! So,
Shit!
as Lucas and Jeremiah and Hudson are like discussing tracking and finding like footprints or finding, you all jump as
Jesus!
you literally hear like a perfect impression of this Sasquatch like 5 feet away from you. And even the horses get startled by it as Delilah, like you turn, all of you turn, like, and Lucas's hand goes to his gun and like it's halfway out of the holster. And it's just Delilah literally like head up, just mouth open, making the sounds that are now echoing into the peak up above you.
Jeez, Delilah.
But now we don't have to go anywhere. Maybe they'll come to us.
Or we
think
didn't
we're
want
already
all of them to
down
come
one.
charging at us.
I didn't know you were a Sasquatch, baby. Dang.
You know, I heard that sound before after I ate something Sneaky Pete made, but
Maybe that's why I'm so good at it.
Oh my god. Wait a minute.
well, now
These
what?
Sasquatches were sneaky. Maybe Sneaky Pete is one. I don't.
He's not
I don't-
very
I-
good.
I don't think we need to worry about the people in town being Sasquatches. That's the least of our worries, Jeremiah.
Is there any sign of any movement or anything like
Why don't
Is there a
you
return
coming
call?
towards us or a return call?
Yeah.
Why don't you roll me spot hidden and or listens checks?
Okay, I'm gonna do listen.
I have a 55 in spot hidden or a 50 in listen. Are we all rolling for this?
You can if you. I'll say Delilah. You're busy like making the noise.
Okay.
I'll do a listen because that's better for me.
Yeah. Same.
I still can't
Oh
believe it.
god.
Ooh, all right, and let's
Nice.
see.
We're on fire right now.
Wow.
So that's Lucas is like looking around, and he's like, I don't see anything. But Jeremiah, you think you hear something like, is that like a crack of a what was that? And then Hudson, you definitely hear this faint sort of return from somewhere further up the slope.
That way. And he's gonna start trying to just lead them that way.
I think Delilah at this point is actually going to take off her gun belt bandolier and her holdout pistol, keeping her knife in her boot. But considering she's the one communicating with these Sasquatch, she wants to still be armed, but be as at least intimidating as possible.
Yeah.
That's fair.
All
I think
right.
Jeremiah is pretty unintimidating as is, so
I mean, you're riding a donkey.
I know exactly.
Lucas says as you're getting ready to go in, he's like, do we want to find us a place to tie off our horses just in case these Sasquatch scare?
Let's spook them.
We don't want them taking off
You
and
may want
running.
to time off you.
I mean, there's
Good
plenty
idea.
there's plenty
Sure.
of trees to hide them in, and there's some
We could do
grass
that.
for them to eat.
We
Yeah,
can do that. Yeah.
we'll find a spot and time off.
All right, so you guys look around real quick, and you
Somewhere with enough cover that if like
One
a
of the
mosquito
bugs.
thing flies by, yeah, it doesn't like.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, horse.
all right. So roll me a luck roll. Whoever wants to, one of you can pick who wants to do it to see if you
Luck.
find a good location to
Luck.
put your horses where
Oh,
they're definitely
we got
not
a
going to
lot
get
of
you.
luck.
I'm at 44 luck.
I'm at 29.
Go ahead and roll it because I'm at 37.
Okay.
I have
Uh,
30.
The odds are in your favor instead of mine.
Slightly. Ooh,
Hey,
oh.
look at that.
All right. So
Woo!
as Jeremiah goes to tie Sancho up to a tree, Hudson, you walk over and just like, no, come over here. And you sort of go around this little rock outcropping, and there's this little gully that's kind of, it hides them in this other little set of trees back there, and it's off like the beaten path and out of the way, and you kind of tie them off and sort of like set them aside, and they seem content to be left.
All right.
Let's go get some Sasquatches.
All right. So, going in the direction where Hudson was able to definitely pick out the sound, you head kind of up this slope. And it's not too hard to climb up. You kind of move through the trees a little bit here and there. And then, Hudson, you hear something off to your left, like a crunch of sticks or something being tread on.
Does it sound like it's walking with us, or is like it's kind of following, or can I tell anything like that?
It sounds like it's sort of like approached, maybe like it wasn't like following, like it was approaching, and then it stops.
Can I see anything over there?
Make a spot hidden check. Let's see.
Come on, baby.
Nope.
Oh.
All right, you look over and you just see the trees there, but you don't see anything in the trees.
Guys, I think we got some company, so just act non-threatening.
All right.
Should I try talking to him?
What did
Good try.
from where we heard it? Do we still have further to go to get to where I definitely heard something, or is this kind of like the approximate area where I heard the return call from?
You think that the return call was farther away,
Okay.
but
That
you
doesn't
don't
mean
know
that
if something
in
didn't
the
approach.
That's true. We
Yeah.
could have met something halfway.
Yeah.
Well, we took time not going in the direction of the thing that probably came our direction.
Yeah.
Can I try to look for it?
Sure. If Hudson is pointing out that there might
Yeah,
be
he
something
would kind
nearby.
of like subtly point out where it is.
Look at that.
All right, let's see.
Wow.
The Sasquatch whisperer.
We don't actually see it. We just see the blurry picture of Sasquatch walking.
Actually, the chupacabra. Let's just add another cryptid.
Oh my god. I
Yeah,
love
no.
that.
It's actually
Um,
Mothman gonna come flying out.
Don't cross any
Delilah.
bridges.
Delilah, make me just roll me a power roll.
Okay. Okay, that's a success.
All right, let's
Barely,
see.
but a success.
You look in the direction where Hudson is kind of pointing, and you don't see anything in there. You're like, wait. I don't know. You don't see anything. Like,
Just rolled a 2. I think she's gonna walk like with her hands up towards the direction.
okay, so you walk forward. Now, remind me, because I don't remember off the top of my head. Did everybody see a Sasquatch at Jed's? Or
I did.
I know that Jeremiah.
Delilah pointed the
Okay, that's what I thought. I thought everybody had seen it.
Hudson saw it first because he was walking around the back of the house
Mhm.
and saw it, and then he pointed
Yeah.
it out to, I know definitely Jeremiah and Lucas, but I
Yes.
think Delilah did see it because it kind of flew out of the woods.
Yes.
And it ran
Yeah.
out of the woods at us.
All right. So you walk forward, and you kind of step toward this tree line slowly, trying to look non-threatening. You get kind of right up to where this line of trees kind of sits, and you kind of do like a look left and right, and then as you turn and you look back to your left, there is a figure like literally like 2 feet away from you, standing next to a tree, but he's not as tall and big as the one that you saw near Jed's. It's only slightly taller than you. And it's just sort of like, almost like it just appears standing in front of you. And it's looking at you like, it looks a little tense. and it's kind of like looking at you and then over your shoulder and then at you and over your shoulder at the group.
Hi, my name is Delilah. She just waves.
Sort of watches your hand go back and forth. And then it mimics the motion.
We were looking for some help, and I think she'll kind of crouch down. Is there a clear? Can she clear off a piece of dirt?
It takes like a little hop back as you crouch down, but it doesn't go away. It sort of watches and looks back at Jeremiah and Hudson and Lucas.
I also wave.
Yeah, I wave at it.
It hesitates for a second and then does the motion that you do.
So what she's gonna attempt to do is clear off a patch of dirt and then do her best drawing. Which I should have probably put some drawing into other art, or points into other arts, because it's only a 5. But she's gonna try to draw the bug man, or the bugs.
Okay.
Probably poorly.
So go ahead and roll me. Let's see how well you draw this bug, people.
Okay. Drawing. I'm just gonna make it, and it's at 5% because I'm silly. Mostly. Oops. Hit the wrong button.
It happens.
What would drawing even be?
It's an art slash
Okay.
craft.
Oh, all right.
All right, so you do your best to sort of draw these bugs, and
I see.
it looks like when you finish it, you kind of like sit back, and it looks more like an ant with like these weird little wings on it, and this thing kind of looks down at it and tilts its head, and it watched as you drew, like almost kind of interested, and
Whoa.
it kind of leans in close to it, and then it's like, oh, and it backs up and like pounds back like 5 or 6 feet from you.
We're trying to go and fight the bugs. They're not here. I promise they're not here right now.
You other two, please make me listen checks.
Okay.
Oh shit.
We're getting surrounded.
I'm sorry.
Whoa.
Okay, Jerry.
Ah,
Well, thanks,
My bat
Hudson.
ears.
your ears just got suddenly like flare out.
They're like radar.
So, like this thing is like, oh, and Hudson, you don't hear anything over this thing, like kind of starting to freak out a little bit. Jeremiah, you don't like, you almost miss it, but like there's like this soft whoosh sound behind, like almost from just behind where you're standing with Hudson and Lucas. And as you kind of spin to see what the noise is, just make me a power roll.
Okay.
Come on, Jerry.
I have a high power. Hey.
Oh,
All right.
Yeah.
So you turn around, and as this smaller looking like ape person is kind of like backing away from Delilah, and like has this look of like kind of fear coming over its face, and it's looking toward the sky and then looking back at Delilah and at this cryptic drawing on the ground. You spin around, and maybe like 4 feet away from you is a much larger version of this.
Here's Mama, yeah.
And it is just kind of standing, and Hudson's a big guy, and this thing kind of dwarfs Hudson as it sort of looms in.
Yeah.
And you just kind of like, you turn and you just see like this fur at first, like, and then like it's like, oh.
I think Jeremiah, very slowly and like, I'm doing this, just making sure it sees. I'm not grabbing my gun or anything. I'm being very slow. I'm going to try and grab the book out of my bag the Penny Dreadful book,
Mm-hmm.
if I can. And I want to see if I can flip to a page with the bug person, like a drawing of a bug person or something.
All right. So you like, and at this point, Hudson, like, Jeremiah has probably stepped like a little bit back, so now he's facing
Yeah.
behind you.
Fuck yeah, I am.
And if you turn and look over your shoulder, you
He's
also.
not looking.
Oh, okay. So
He's what Jeremiah is doing is assuming what is going on behind him, so he's not going to look because he doesn't want to like move too quickly. So he's just not even looking. He's just watching.
You do notice because Lucas is on the other side of Jeremiah, so like Jeremiah was between the two of you. He doesn't draw his gun, but he like immediately sort of swiped back the coat and had his hand like. But he also doesn't engage. Like, eyes back and forth between the two of these creatures. So, Jeremiah, you are pulling this book out. And Delilah, this smaller creature is like... It looks like frightened. Like, and it's kind of put its back up against a tree. And is looking back and forth. And all around still.
We fight the bug people. We want your help fighting them. And she goes back and draws a very poor stick figure with a sword.
Oh, so cute.
So let's say I want you to make me like roll a persuasion check to kind of like calm it.
It's more my thing.
All right.
Oh, wow.
So as you start drawing again, it still looks up toward the sky and it looks across now at the bigger figure that's over there. And this big creature's attention is kind of fully on Jeremiah as he's like reaching in and like fiddling. And it's got its arms kind of wide, like it's got a big presence.
Mm-hmm.
And you can sort of feel like the tension of this creature looming over you. But the little one sort of leans back down to see what you're drawing, even as he's still tense. Jeremiah, you get this little book out and you start flipping. So what do you do?
I want to find a picture of one of the bug people. If I can, I want to like very gently tear like that page out of the book and like show the picture to the Bigfoot and then like rip it in half if I can. Like, I don't like this, you know, like
We're on the same
nonverbal.
side.
Yeah,
We're on the same side.
All right, so you hold up the picture and it leans close to get a good look at it, and its nostrils kind of flare, and you rip it. Like, we're not on the same side. What is your dexterity?
50.
A 50. All right. It watches you rip it, and then the big arms sort of grab for Jeremiah.
Oh shit!
So I need you, if you want to try to get out of the way of it trying to pick you up, you would need to you can try to dodge it.
A dodge?
Yes.
Oh man.
We're not fighting it.
Don't fight it.
I also don't want to die, and I think it'd be my natural reaction to try and jump out of the way of a fucking giant
jump!
snake.
Well, no, you can jump out of the way, but don't try and like fight it off.
No. I'm not gonna like punch at it or anything.
No, just
That's
like
completely counter to what we were trying to do.
Okay. I'm gonna roll a dodge just cause I think he would.
Okay. Let's see who gets the
Yeah.
better. All right.
Oh.
So this thing moves surprisingly fast.
Yeah.
And in like one motion, it leaned forward, snuffs, and then in a blur of fur, Jeremiah is there next to you. 1 second, Hudson, and then there's this musky, like wet fur smell, and then you just see Jeremiah get kind of scooped up, and like his legs are sort of sticking out from underneath a big furry arm, and he's sort of like hanging over in front. And it grunts once, and the little one's like, and turns and runs into the trees. Just kind of pauses for just a second and looks back at Delilah and goes, and waves, a little
Oh,
wave.
I'm going to be with my people, yo!
And then this thing starts bolting into the trees, carrying the pastor with it.
This is why we should have tied up the horses. God damn it!
This is going great.
Hudson's gonna chase after because he is thinking maybe this thing is bringing Jeremiah to the rest of them because they realize Jeremiah's like, I don't like the bug people.
Mm-hmm.
So like it kind of looks threatening, but Hudson's gonna assume it's not, and he's gonna just try and run after them.
All right, so Hudson bolts into the tree line after the tall
Damn
Sasquatch
it.
carrying Jeremiah. Lucas looks where Hudson disappears to, looks back at Delilah, and he's like,
Hudson, go get the horses.
you know, with Lucas. Lucas
Oh,
is like,
sorry,
all right,
I meant Lucas.
are you going after them?
Yeah, I guess.
Well, keep up because I don't want you to get lost. I'll bring the horses. And
Okay,
Lucas
cool.
sprints back to where you left the horses.
Horses would have been spooked out of their minds if we brought them, though.
All right,
Yeah.
so this creature is sprinting ahead, carrying Jeremiah, and Hudson and Delilah. You are like a little bit of distance back behind them, as the preacher is kind of under the arm. And this thing
Hold on,
runs.
Jerry.
This thing runs really fast. Like it's just sort of darting through the trees. So I need you guys both who are following it to just roll me dexterities to kind of keep your footing and keep up, as this thing knows the terrain, knows the area, and just is bolting with your preacher.
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh.
All right, so in your heightened desperation to not lose
It's like
Jeremiah,
the adrenaline, like Supermom who lifts a car up from their baby.
That's my preacher!
That's my preacher! Hudson like runs through a tree.
Oh my god.
tree explodes all over the place.
Ah.
So this thing gets a ways ahead of you, but you two kind of keep enough in sight, and you can see it's not like covering up its trail, so you can still run full tilt and follow it. But Jeremiah, you're just sort of flopping along underneath this thing's arm. It's not hurting you. It's kind of holding you tightly though, so as not to drop you. Because every once in a while, it like leaps up and uses like a tree to kind of spring forward further, and you're just sort of like bunging in the arms.
Lord protect me.
And it comes to sort of this little like rise of rocks where it kind of scrambles up, and you see coming from the other direction the smaller one. It's kind of running along at a sprint, and they run up this slope, and there are like a series of small caves, and it sort of like just takes you into one darkened cave and down inside, and you can't really see too well, and it kind of like unceremoniously drops you on the ground, and then you're kind of left to yourself for a second as it seems to move away into the darkness.
Okay. I don't know. I don't like it.
Do you want to make me a listen check?
Yeah. Yeah. I'll do that. Sure. Oh.
So you're not sure exactly what you're hearing. There's dripping that you can tell. You can hear the wind whistling through the caves from outside. But you also think like there's things moving around in the darkness. And your eyes are kind of adjusting a little bit, and you can see sort of movement around you. But you can't really tell for sure.
Yeah. Could I slowly reach into my bag again
Mm-hmm.
and pull out the bag of marshmallows?
I thought we were gonna have s'mores, not.
Well,
All right, so you reach into your bag and you pull out this small pouch with these little marshmallows. And as you pull them free and you kind of have them out, you realize that there's definitely something like right over your right shoulder.
Hopefully it's the baby.
Can I pull out a marshmallow and just kind of like hold it back behind me?
You hear a and then like something poking the marshmallow in your hand.
I love it.
Huh? They're tasty.
Nice knowing you, Jeremiah.
Jeremiah's gonna lose a hand.
You say they're tasty, and you can still feel whatever it is poking it, and then you see like the kind of shadowed like shape of a head sort of lean around and look at you, and keep poking the marshmallow.
And I look and turn at it.
It gives this sort of wide, like toothy grin, but they're not sharp teeth. They're kind of like, like a really like poor taken care of like longer tooth. So you're like, your first thought maybe is like, I don't think they eat meat.
That's good. That's good. Good sign. God, I don't know what to do.
So it continues to poke this thing in your hand, and then you just feel like a warm palm kind of rub on your head and kind of tousle on your hair.
It's saying if you're squishy too.
Oh, can I take the marshmallow and take it back, and I'm gonna put it between my fingers, and I'm gonna sort of show it, and I'm gonna take a bite out of it.
Want it poked?
Yeah, I mean, you know.
You take a bite out of it, and you immediately the like kind of like rubbing on your head kind of stops, and
Picks me up and throws me.
no, all of a sudden like the other hand kind of shoots out, and it takes the half of the marshmallow you didn't eat, and it disappears, and you just hear this, and then there's a low like growl from somewhere in the shadows, and it disappears from you. Meanwhile, Hudson, you run like out into this little bit of clear area through the tree line. There's some rocks and things like that. You look around. You don't have a line of sight on Jerry. And Delilah kind of runs up behind you and kind of like comes into the clearing a few seconds after you do as you guys look around. But you don't see Jeremiah anywhere in sight.
Do they like come to a point and then it goes down?
So it's kind of like it came up onto this kind of rise. There's some like it keeps going up, and you can see where there's like it gets rockier and there's like caves and things like that, and then you could continue going like back into the trees.
My guess is he's in the caves. I don't know about you.
You're probably right, but I didn't think to grab the lantern off of my saddle.
Well, I mean, about how many caves are there that we can see?
There's a few openings. Make a spot hidden check for me.
Will do. There you are.
Look. Well, there's one. That one could be one. Maybe they went a little further up on the slope. I mean, there's a decent number of them up there.
Do you need some help there, Deputy?
Well, I don't know which one he's in.
Can I, like, listen for any, like, rustlings?
Sure, you can make me a listen check.
Boom!
So you, like, kind of move closer, and you're kind of listening as Hudson is scratching his chin, like, I'm not sure. And for a couple of seconds, you're like, I don't think there's... And then you hear this low, like... coming from an opening kind of off into the right, a little up the slope.
I don't even have a gun. I just realized how screwed I'd made myself. I think... I don't want to go in there knife first, but if they're eating my friend, I kind of want to go in there knife first. I think Delilah will put her finger to her lip and motion to where she heard the noise.
Hudson's going to slowly walk towards that cave and just have his hands like fully up and visible to like kind of show he's not threatening, and just slowly make his way towards that cave.
All right, so Delia, you watch as Hudson just walks forward, hands up, moving toward the cave.
I mean, ignoring the fact I have 7 guns on me, but he's just not having his hands anywhere near them.
Is there a way that, like, are there rocks in this, like, opening?
Yeah, there are rocks and things like that here.
Okay, because her idea now that Hudson, she wants to give as much cover to Hudson as she possibly can without also being visible. So, like, her idea is to, like, go hide behind a rock and then quick run to another rock. Like,
All right.
stealthily get closer.
So roll me stealth for Delilah.
Oh,
Ooh.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Okay.
That's some nice rocks.
Very
Bye!
good. All right, so Hudson, you're walking and you look back over your shoulder and you're like, where the hell's Delilah?
whatever.
All right, so inside this this cave, there's only a little bit of light coming in from this opening, and then it's blotted out by another big figure looming into the opening. Jeremiah, coming closer,
Okay. Great.
and then as it sort of steps, so the light kind of clears again and you can see it. You see a familiar outline, and you recognize Hudson kind of stepping in.
Jerry.
I'm alright.
Hudson, roll me a spot hidden.
I was gonna say, where are they? My spot hitters have been good tonight. Oh, there we go.
You say, where are they, as you also roll me a power roll.
Mm-hmm.
Be more intimidating than the creatures.
I am strong, boy.
All right, so you say, where are they? And you quickly get the answer as a big furry shape sort of like leaps down from above you to kind of land on you. Do you try to get out of the way?
Yes.
Roll a dodge roll.
Oh no. We'll see.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
So
We're both terrible.
yeah,
Alright.
so
But I was slightly less terrible.
you attempt to dodge out of the way and kind of slip on loose rocks and go
Shit.
what, and kind of like land, and this big furry mass just sort of lands on top of you, and there's like just all these limbs now that are Hudson and this big furry mass kind of like on top of each other. So Delilah, as you come to the entrance and sort of like stealthily peek over, you just see like this mass of hands and feet kind of rolling around in the entryway. The little one that is nearby where Jeremiah was, he kind of moved away when the other one made a barking sound at him. It sort of stops and it's like,
Oh.
Friend.
Is that the same
friend?
one that Delilah was trying to communicate with?
yeah, you can just see it at the edge of like the shadow. And Hudson, you sort of like spray out like spread eagle, like friend. And this thing just sort of like sits up and sits on your chest and just stays there.
The little one or the big one?
The big one.
Oh.
Friend.
It puts a big meaty palm on your face and pats your face. And just leaves a palm on your face.
It is. This is either going to go very well or go very poorly for me. Where is its face?
Its face is like,
Oh my God.
it's sitting on your chest, so like its legs are kind
Like,
of.
can I reach?
You may just be able to reach like its chin area.
Can I try to like do what it did? Do like pat, and then just keep my hand there?
Sure. Roll me a persuasion check
Oh my
here.
Oh, no. Persuasion. Oh no. My persuasion. Can I charm it instead?
Sure, I will let you charm it if you want to. You tickle
Oh
its
my
chin. You tickle its
God.
Because
chin a
my
little
charm
bit.
is so much better than my persuasion.
Oh my God.
Oh, I'm scared. Oh.
So you reach up and like you kind of like get your hand under its chin and you're kind of like patting at its chin, and for a second you feel its mouth open and you're like, oh god, oh god, oh god, and then it just sort of looks down and like just rubs its big meaty palm on like your whole head, and
I'm just gonna do the back and start like basically what it's doing, I'm doing back to it, just to kind of like show.
Oh my god, we're all dying.
Friend?
So, Delilah, you're looking in. You see Jeremiah kind of tucked in, like he looks like he was unceremoniously planted on top of some kind of like.
There's a bag of marshmallows and a
Yeah.
book.
He's got his book out. He's got his
just eating
marshmallows. He's sitting on this like it looks like bedding made of like like leaves and things like that, where he was just plopped. And you see Hudson in the light coming through the entryway. Just he's got a big ape person just on him, and it's rubbing his face with its palm and like blowing at him, and Hudson's just like.
Just doing the exact
I think
same
she's
thing.
just letting the two of them just do their thing. Because she's so well hidden at this point, like
It's true.
she's snuck all the way up there on the gravel and the rocks without kicking a rock and making any noise, and I think she's just enjoying the show.
All right, so as you just kind of sit back and watch from the door, Hudson, this one doesn't get up. It continues to just kind of sit on you. But Jeremiah, you see coming out of the shadows from the other side, the big one that carried you in kind of comes lumbering over on its 2 feet, and it keeps.
So this is a different one.
Oh yeah, this is a different one.
Oh, I thought it was the same one.
Oh no, this is.
Oh no, this is a different one.
Yep.
Okay.
This one, the one sitting on you, kind of has a big beefier face, and like kind of sunken out. This one is definitely more like, I don't know if you've ever seen Harry and the Hendersons.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's got this big like sad looking face with like big lips,
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
and he's just sort of rubbing like, and then he just kind of like leaves his hand on top of your face, and every once in a while just pats you there. But
I just pat him. We're friends.
so the bigger one kind of comes, or the one that you originally saw that carried Jeremiah away, sort of comes closer, and it gets right kind of up in your face, Jeremiah, and goes down on its haunches and kind of like gets face to face with you, and it points at your book with a finger and taps your book,
I hold up the book.
and it's looking like it's looking for something.
Can I flip to like a picture of the 8 men?
Okay.
And I'm gonna point at it. I'm gonna point at the picture.
It looks closely at it. It's like it doesn't like the likeness.
No. Well, yeah, it's not that good, I guess. You know, I'm gonna rip that page out too and like crumple it up.
You drop it.
Yeah.
You're flipping through, and you hear this crinkle as you see a little paw, like hand, kind of pull it away and crinkle it out.
I think I'm gonna. Gosh. What exactly was in all this book?
It was just like a story about these like creatures from somewhere outside of the space, and like it almost like a little science fiction.
Yeah.
Yep. And it just talked about like these bug creatures were using these ape creatures to sort of work and collect like precious metals and things like that out of the earth, and that kind of thing.
I don't know exactly what I would find. I want to say like a picture of like the because the Bigfoot like escaped in the story, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think I want to find something like that and be like, you know, yeah, this, you know, and then find a picture of the bug people and like punch it or something. I don't, you know, do the best I can to like get across my message. Like, can you help us fight bug people? You know.
Why don't you roll me? If you have some kind of performance, or if you want to roll like a straight intelligence to try to communicate this to them.
I could do intelligence. Yeah. I'll do that.
Jerry.
Oh, come on. Can I spend 20 luck?
You can.
I'll fucking do it.
All right.
Screw
So Jerry takes some time, and at first it doesn't seem like the concept is kind of getting across, and maybe about, this takes like maybe like 30 minutes of back and forth.
Yeah.
Jerry keeps holding up the book. Delilah, you're still just watching from the entrance. And Hudson, this other one just stays sitting on you the whole time. He doesn't get up.
Fighting it. I'm
Yep.
just kind of laying here.
I think eventually
I'm a-
Jeremiah probably just ends up making like noises. It's like trying to help. Is that helping? I don't know.
Jeanette, I have a question.
Yes.
So when we were at Jed's house, Hudson got like a very clear look at the 8-person's face.
Mm-hmm.
Is it either of these ones?
No.
Okay. So
Yep.
these are different ones.
Yep.
Okay.
You don't recognize.
I would say because like the thing was like right there, so he got a clear look at it.
Oh yeah, you did have a clear look. This is not one of those. So at this point, you definitely have seen
at least
now
4.
4 of these. So after about 30 minutes of this, with Delilah hiding in the entrance and Hudson acting as a soft cushion for his newfound friend, the creature kind of like takes your little book and lays it on the ground and sort of flips to the bug people pick that's still there, and looks down at it and looks at you, and then balls a fist, and for a second you're like, oh, and then it smashes the picture with its fist, and it kind of points at you, and then at Hudson on the ground, and then points at the picture, and it goes, "Hurr, hurr."
Can I like lean forward and also sort of like punch it? Like,
kind of watches you do it, and then you see it like it gets up from where it's been sitting, and it kind of stalks around the room. It seems agitated, and it kind of starts kicking around looking for something, and then it goes to the entrance, and it sort of goes out the entrance into daylight. So Delilah, this thing walks past you, and it kind of walks almost right up to where you're hiding, and for a second you think, oh, and then it reaches over and it grabs like a smaller like tree, and it breaks off a small branch, and then walks back inside, and you realize it didn't see you. It comes back in, and it kind of goes back on its haunches with a little bit of space between you and it now, Jeremiah. And it kind of starts to point at the bug, and then it like, and it sort of tries to sketch with a stick in the dirt, and it draws like a kind of a square, and then it puts like a littler like square shape at the bottom, and then it draws another one and another one, and it points at the bug and points at the little squares with the little like rectangles. Just make an intelligence check and roll better.
Some sort of map, but yeah.
Oh.
All right, so you kind of lean in and look at this drawing that it's trying to do, and the little squares look like almost like they would be buildings.
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
And it kind of points at the little squares that it drew, and then it points at the bug picture, and it slams its fist down on the buildings, and then points back at the bug picture.
Does
Can I
it look
see
like...
any of this from where I'm
Yeah,
sitting?
you're like lying there with your head like this way, like.
I think it means the bug people are gonna attack the town.
Oh.
Then it kind of like scratches at its face again, and it's like, oh. It gets up and it goes back out the door and walks back past Delilah.
As I still just sit here like.
And this time Delilah, it keeps going. It kind of goes over the rise in the opposite direction of where you went, and it disappears.
Can I try to follow it?
Sure.
Oh.
So you come out of your hiding place and slip after this creature. And you go up over the little rise, and you see it sort of going around and meandering down, and you follow it, and it keeps walking for a little ways, like maybe like 5 minutes go by. You still follow it down this little slope, and then you kind of it disappears around a corner and down behind some trees. Make me a listen check. All right, so you pick up before you even get down to where the trees are. You hear the sound of water running, and as you follow it, and its footsteps are the only ones you hear. Besides, you don't hear the water, the breeze, its footsteps, and your footsteps. So you're pretty sure that you guys, it's just the two of you out here. And as you kind of come around this little like corner, you can see that down the slope a little ways, there's like a stream that runs through here. Kind of runs down out of the rocks and keeps going down further away. And it kind of has gone to the stream, and it sort of looks around, and it eventually kind of finds like a bigger leaf to kind of scoop up some water in, and then bring it back, and it comes walking back. So roll me just another stealth check as it comes back.
Oh, fuck. Oh, shoot.
All right, so it starts coming up the slope, and actually, let me see. It's going to make a spot check, because it might roll just as bad.
Hold up, 100. Do it.
No, so...
That's not the exact opposite, but opposite.
So it's coming back up, and you realize as it's coming up the slope, and it may be, like, you think, like, it uses, like, a leaf or something to scoop, but you see it's got, like... It actually has some kind of, like, makeshift bucket that it's got, that it had down by the stream. And so, like, you kind of lean out in surprise to see this, and it stops and, like, makes direct eye contact with you. Just sort of, like, stares at you.
I'm with the other two. Okay, no need to be so aggressive. You walked past me twice, just saying.
It kind of, like, makes, like, a move toward you, and
She's
points
already
back up.
started to walk up the path.
So it keeps its distance back, carrying this thing with water in it, and follows you back up. It follows you all the way up. Do you go into the cave in front of him? Or her?
Yeah, I don't think I have a choice now.
You always have a choice.
I mean, we want these guys as allies, therefore the only choice is to enter the cave.
That's fair.
All right, so you walk in, and the one sitting on top of Hudson sort of, like, turns and looks at you, and it starts to rise a little as you come in, but then it settles back down as it sees the other one coming in behind. So Hudson, you get just a little bit of air. And the one following you in sort of, like, grunts and points, like, next to Jeremiah.
Okay, I'll go sit down.
All right, so you
I
sit.
hand Delilah a marshmallow when she sits down.
As you're handing it to Delilah, a little paw comes out of the darkness and thoop, takes the marshmallow.
I knew it.
I mean, I like the little guy, so I'm not really
I like him
upset
too.
by this.
He pats Jeremiah on the head. So this one that came back with water, it sort of like settles down and looks at it where it drew, and it points at the drawing, and then it dumps all the water and splashes it all across the drawing. It wipes out the sketch that it did, and it like splatters both of you sitting there with like muddy water.
I feel like I know what's about to happen.
I think
I don't like it.
I think I'm getting the gist too.
I don't know if Delilah got a good enough look at that drawing, so I don't think she has a clue. Or it got flooded.
I think that both people are going to flood the town.
That's what it sounds like.
They're gonna go for Stratton's Dam.
Yep.
So we need to go and blow them up.
That'd be ideal, or stop them from blowing up the dam, or both, ideally.
It'd be nice if we had allies.
I motion to myself, and then to Bigfoot friend, and I point to where the picture was, and then I pull out a marshmallow and try and hand it to the mama. Like, huh?
You're assuming it's a mama. It could be a daddy.
I know they could be both. Yeah, I don't know.
So
I don't know.
This
But
is a
still.
progressive game.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Oh, they're gay Bigfoot. I love it.
Look,
it looks at this marshmallow in your hand and like leans forward. Is like, and then the marshmallow's gone. Not from it, but the little paw came up and took it. And this one looks at the little one's like, oh, and the little one's like, it sits down next to like Jeremiah and is like,
Baby Sasquatch to MVP.
Mm-hmm.
and you see it opens its mouth and it's got like marshmallow like stuck all between its teeth.
Oh no!
if anything happens to the Sasquatch, I will
It's
quit
too
this game.
cute. Oh no! Oh Lord.
And I think that might be a good place to stop this time.
Okay.
It's so cute. Who knew we'd have such a cute baby Sasquatch?
I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely didn't think.
Did not see that one coming.
This is the
it
most
was
wholesome session of Call of Cthulhu I've ever had.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my Lord.
No combat.
Oh.
No,
Just keep Bigfoot.
just a lot of rolls.
I saw that look, Jeanette. There's gonna be something bad next time. I know it.
Well, I mean, we are nearing. We just
it's
learned
true.
the town is going to be flooded.
That's true. That's pretty bad.
Like, Delilah's instinct is let's make a plan with them, and then we need to rush and tell Jack we need to protect the dam. But that also puts people in danger. And
Look, the plan is we push the whole town about 5 miles this way, blow up the dam ourselves. It'll just
then we
work.
can just put our 2 middle fingers up to the bug people by saying, "Hey, we got there first."
Yeah. And then when they come to attack us, we just start throwing dynamite at them.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I have this
Great.
wonderful picture, if only lighters existed, of Delilah stuffing one down its mouth and then lighting it and watching it explode.
That'd be
So
great,
instead,
actually.
it's you stuff it down its mouth and you're just like flint and steel.
I suppose.
All right, so yeah, so we will leave you all in a cave with a few Sasquatch, one small baby Sasquatch who may be on a sugar high before you know it, because he
Yeah.
has had a lot of marshmallows now.
I didn't consider that.
So we will see how marshmallows affect baby Sasquatch's diets.
You just destroyed an entire species of creatures.
In about 30 years, you come back and there's a bunch of really overweight Sasquatches.
Oh man.
It's like whenever they're like, don't feed the ducks. It's not ducks.
Yeah.
Jeremiah has introduced
Oh no.
sugar to their diet.
Like, of all the things, it could have been a carrot or some other root vegetable. No, you had to
Well,
get the cat.
At least we could
marshmallows.
lure this one away with the marshmallows. But come get them. Come get them.
Sure.
It's
Sure,
like
yeah.
E.T. with Reese's Pieces. You just leave
Exactly.
a trail. So you just leave a trail of marshmallows and you kidnap the baby, and then you get the mama and the papa and the other papa and the rest of them to come and help. Because you got
mama,
the baby
papa,
with the
the other papa.
marshmallows.
So
All right.
when the bug people come, we toss a marshmallow at them.
The bug people grab the marshmallows and be like, "What the fuck is this?" And,
And
the
then the little
Sasquatch
baby goes
dumps
flying
it.
out of them.
It's like a homing.
Clearly.
It's like a homing beacon.
Yeah. Exactly.
Or like crazy sugar high where it just like lands on it, like snaps the bug there. The bug bursts its neck. My marshmallow.
Oh, next session's gonna be exciting.
Oh my
All right,
God.
so why don't we do some plugs and we will.
Sure.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah, we're still on.
Yeah, we're still on. All right.
We're still
But
live.
it was so good. All right, so why don't we start with Dylan?
Oh, hey. I mean, we're not feeding Sasquatches marshmallows or anything, but it's on Saturdays at 3 p.m. Hey, you can come watch Dungeon of the Mad Mage on twitch.tv/PowerScoreRPG. So, come watch that.
Just wait for somebody to have sweet pastries to feed some random creature. You've
Yes,
just
please.
brought this upon yourself, Dylan.
Please.
Lovely. Yes.
I'm always up for making friends.
Yes, Dylan and currently Jamie is also guesting in Dungeon the Mad Mage over on Power Score RPG's Twitch on Saturdays. Do you have any other plugs going on?
I mean, I think you'll cover the other one.
Cool.
Really,
All right.
so.
And how about Brooke? What do you got going on?
Well, I am in a Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition where I play an Azamar bard who doesn't like the fact that she's in Azamar. So I guess internalized racism. Lost my train of thought. That's over on SS Adventure. I'm running running my own game of Dungeons and Dragons over on my own channel at THTR Nerd 221 over on Twitch. A game set in the Ravnica world that the players aren't in a guild, and I might have foreshadowed world ending creatures. It's fine.
Sure.
It'll be okay. They'll learn more about it eventually. I think the party decided they wanted to run around town, or run around the 10th district. So that'll be going on Monday. And then I have a new game starting at the end of the month on the 29th. So I think, but earlier in the day than this game, or my other game. I'm actually going to be playing in a Hunter the Vigil game.
Ooh.
And I'm pretty pumped because I played Hunter the Reckoning and I've been wanting to get back into World of Darkness. And they did a lot of changing to the system. But it'll be interesting.
Excellent.
Yeah. And I'll announce more as it gets closer to that if we're still playing.
Sounds good. And Jamie, what's up?
You can find me guesting on Power Score RPG Dungeon the Mad Mage, where I prove just how OP rogues are. Not rogues, monks. I'm used to being an OP rogue.
I'm the rogue.
Yeah.
I'm used to being an OP rogue, but now I'm an OP monk.
Nice.
Monks are hella OP.
Like 5 things by himself.
Yeah.
I think last session, 2 shadow people and 3 goblins, just by punching them.
Pretty great.
Awesome.
Punch!
That's all I have, but yesterday we finished the end of Mission Unbearable, what turned out to be 5-session long Honey Heist game. I believe the VOD is all on YouTube, on Katie's channel, and you should go check that out, because some insane stuff happened last session that I still can't believe actually happened. And that's all I've got going.
Awesome. All right. And then, so we will be back in 2 weeks at 4:30 p.m. Eastern time for another session of the Wretched West. And we'll see how they handle Sasquatch and marshmallows. That may be an episode title. Who knows?
Sasquatches love marshmallows.
They do. And so for myself, you can find me on every other Sunday. So next Sunday at... Oh, wait. So this is at 7 p.m. I mixed them up. So this will be 7 p.m. next month, in 2 weeks. Next Sunday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern time on this channel, I'll be running Skull and Shackles, which is being converted to a D&D 5e game, and Dylan is currently playing a pirate in that. On Thursday nights, I just started a new campaign at 7 p.m. Eastern time. It's a Horde of the Dragon Queen game, and I'm playing a Tiefling Cleric. And so we'll be on session 2 this Thursday, and that's over on Damn It Barry's Twitch channel. And Damn It Barry.
Damn it, Barry.
And then I'm also playing in the Waterdeep Dungeon the Mad Mage with Dylan and Jamie. So, you should check that out on Saturdays because it's a lot of fun and we're really cool. And we don't get guest stars killed in the first 45 minutes.
It took an hour.
It took an hour, yeah.
All right, fair. So see, we don't get them killed in 45 minutes.
Hold on. It was probably only 45 minutes of actual gameplay. Because
That's very
games take
likely.
15 minutes to get into it.
That's
and you can find me on Twitter at JEBreak79 if you want to see what's going on here or other places. And other than that, I think we are... Nothing else for me going on, and Kiltz will be back next week, and he's probably going to laugh at all of the shenanigans he pulled off. All right, so thanks everybody for watching and for catching us later on video VOD, and we hope everybody has a great week and a good night. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye now. Bye-bye.
Enjoy your marshmallows.